What's up, guys? It's me. Alright, today there are a lot of hormones that we're going to go over. So the ones that I haven't read are going to be the ones that I'm going to go over. You have FSH, LH, thyroid, TSH, prolactin, cortisol, ACTH, aldosterone, norepinephrine, epinephrine. Those are the ones I'm going to go over in this video. In the next video, I'm going to go over growth hormone, insulin, glucagon, vitamin D, parathyroid hormone, and the thyroid gland, and the calcitonin. And yeah, so let's get started. So FSH, all I have to know about it is that it talks about eggs and sperm. So I'm guessing it targets that. It stimulates the creation of that. LH, what LH does is testosterone and estrogen. This is all I need to know about it, so I'm guessing it just creates testosterone and estrogen. Another thing, prolactin. The next one is prolactin. Prolactin, all I need to know about it is that it's for the production of milk. And so, right, you have pro and pro. That's a good way to remember it. Don't confuse it with oxytocin, where it's talking about milk ejection. Oxytocin is milk ejection, whereas prolactin is the production of milk. So if you see pro and pro, you're set. Alright, next one is going to be, I'm going to skip thyroid for now. I'll come back to that later. So now we're going to do the adrenal hormones. So in the cortex we have cortisol. Actually, let's go in the medulla, or hormones first. Adrenal, medulla. So you have nephrin and norepinephrine. Thankfully, these two are interrelated, and they're going to do the same thing, and which is stimulate your blood, or stimulate you during your fight or flight. God, I can't talk. Fight or flight. So what this is going to do is going to increase heart rate, blood pressure, fuel mobilization, and blood flow to the muscles and heart. One sec. And now let's go to the adrenal cortex hormones. And we're going to have cortisol. Right, this is the stress hormone. And so what this does, and also we're going to have ACTH. What this does is it enables this, right? And something to know is that ACTH is related to cortisol in the way that this is just what stimulates this to release. So like say if you have low cortisol, you're going to have increased, your body's going to increase the amount of ACTH you have to increase the production of cortisol and therefore increase your cortisol levels, right? So this is what you're going to see in your body, and this is how they're kind of related. And so what cortisol does is functions is that it has an, it's like a, it acts as like an anti-immune brake. It acts like as an anti-immune kind of thing, where it puts like a brake on the immune system. Which affects the it breaks the immune system, and so that will blunt the inflammation response. Inflammation response is what you see with athletes. They get their cortisone shot, and so the cortisone shot, what it does is it's going to stop the inflammation in the area, and it'll allow for a faster recovery. So like, I guess I'm going to go on a separate tangent. So inflammation is generally good. That means your immune system's working. That means your immune system's working. However, too much inflammation is bad, and therefore that's why the cortisone shot works. And it'll just allow your blood to, it'll allow your body to like heal up. That's all I know about it, and so this is just how it works. That is my tangent. And so decreases the capillary permeability of blood flow to the area. And so there's two diseases associated with too much and too little cortisol. Too little would be Addison's disease. Addison's disease is a cortisol deficiency. And what you'll see with cortisol deficiency is low cortisol and high ACTH, and this means you have the loss of negative feedback, and this is really just an attack. This is really an autoimmune disease, which means your body's like immune system is going to attack cortisol, and therefore you're just not going to have any cortisol in the body, and this is going to cause weakness, fatigue, loss of appetite, and low BP, low blood pressure. And yeah, like to get it back to normal, you just need oral hormones. So like pills. The next disease associated with too much is Cushing's disease. I can't remember if it's crushing or Cushing. I have no clue. I'm pretty sure it's this though. I'm pretty sure it's Cushing. Anyways, this is excessive cortisol. And the most common cause is from a tumor. And what this is going to do is going to increase the catabolism of bone and muscle and increase blood sugar. And so catabolism is bad. It's basically the breakdown of blood, bone and muscle. So having too much cortisol is going to break the bone and muscle down, and you're going to be obviously very weak. And having too much blood sugar is bad. Like again, this is where you see like a lot of people with like diabetes or people who are super stressed will get like a temporary diabetes because their blood sugar is going to be so high from all the excessive cortisol, from all the stress, yada yada yada, you know? And so what it's going to do is going to increase appetite, weight gain, fat deposits, and yeah. The way to do this, or the way to solve for this, is immunosuppression. That's all I have in my notes for cortisol. What else am I going to cover? And lastly, we're going to do the thyroid system. The thyroid hormone. The thyroid hormone and TSH, aka thyroid stimulating hormone, obviously if you have, these are interrelated where thyroid stimulating hormone is going to affect this obviously, and say you have low thyroid hormone, there's going to be a lot of this. It's going to send a lot of signals to the thyroid gland or whatever produces it, and you're going to create more thyroid hormone. And so what does thyroid hormone do? Well, there's two parts, there's two kinds, there's T3 and T4. So these are the two kinds of thyroid hormones. And so for the most part, the T4 turns into T3 most of the time. And so then T3 is going to activate into the cell and do stuff, right? Actions that it does is it's going to what it's going to do, it's going to create more ATP. No, it's going to create more NAK pumps on cell, which will speed up more metabolism. Controls. these are really the main functions that it does. I guess other functions that it has is that it's permissive effects on norepinephrine and epinephrine. It promotes the synthesis as well. Of their receptors. Potentiates the sympathetic effects on heart rate and blood pressure, and thyroid hormone, which is now going to be TH, is required growth and development. So this is really we're going to see with thyroid hormone, and there are some like problems associated with too much and too little, obviously, like many things in your body, just like cortisol. And we're going to start with hypothyroidism. Too little. And so too little TH, what does that do? That means you're going to have cold intolerance, weight gain, decreased cholinergic actions, fatigue, and depression. That makes sense, right? Because, well, if we look at what it does, right? If you have too little, you're going to have less control in your body temp, right? You're going to have less control in your body temp. You're going to have, since it helps speed up metabolism, so you're going to use less energy metabolizing. So you're going to weight gain. Same thing. I don't understand really the fatigue part. Maybe it's because of the epinephrine and norepinephrine, and then growth and development, depression, something like that. But that kind of makes sense, just if you know the actions. What other causes? So what are the causes? I guess no iodine, because iodine is made, like, makes these, by the way, made by iodine. So if you don't have iodine, then you're not going to have enough thyroid hormone. There's also an autoimmune disease, or there's a case where it can be autoimmune, and this is called Hashimoto's disease, where your immune system is going to kill or going to attack the thyroid hormone. And this is what you're going to see with hypothyroidism. So I guess a good way to remember Hashimoto's disease and hypothyroidism is I guess if you see moto, the O responds to hypothyroidism, and so that's gonna they're going to be connected. Just know it's an autoimmune disease. So the next one we're going to talk about is hyperthyroidism, aka having too much thyroid hormone. And so what this does is you're gonna have intolerance, weight loss, protein catabolism, weakness, fatigue, and tremors. And again, like, these symptoms are going to make sense because if it controls body temp, you have too much, you're going to be too hot, right? Speed of metabolism, you're going to spend more energy, you're going to lose weight. I guess that can be the same reason for weakness and fatigue. You're just going to have too little energy, right? Permissive effects. I guess it also can affect the protein catabolism, because you're going to need energy, and so we're going to get the energy from the protein. So that's why hypertension does what it does, or not hypertension, hyperthyroidism rather. And so, what are the causes? So there's an autoimmune aspect called Graves' disease. And I guess a way to remember it is there's an E here and an E here, so Graves and hyper. I guess that works. And so what this does is your autoimmune system will have antibodies that bind and activate TSH. And so if you're activating TSH, you're going to make thyroid hormone, which again, if you're making too much thyroid hormone that you don't want, you're going to have hyperthyroidism. So the next cause is from overstimulation of thyroid gland. And if the thyroid gland is too stimulated, it's just going to make more thyroid hormone, and thus you will have too much thyroids. I forgot to do the treatment for both. And so the treatment for hypothyroidism, if you have too little thyroid, right? Why not just take thyroid pills? So you're going to take thyroid hormone synthetic pills. So synthetic thyroid hormone pills. And this is usually in the form of T4. And we're going to see with T4 again is going to turn to T3, and then it's going to activate. So you're going to take synthetic T4 and your body will be normal again. The treatment for hyperthyroidism is antithyroid drugs, and these are going to inhibit the thyroid hormone synthesis. So if the problem is you're making too much, then they're just going to block the synthesis. And the other kind of drugs that would work is anti-arrhythmic drugs. I don't have in my notes what they do, so that's all I can say about the anti-arrhythmic drugs. And so yeah, that's my video on some of the hormones in the body. The next video I'm going to go over the growth hormone, insulin and glucagon, vitamin D, thyroid gland, and parathyroid hormone. Thank you for watching.